2026 is the biggest year ever for Souls-likes. There's a huge variety coming out across the year. So in case you missed any, let's break down the top 7 Souls-likes coming in 2026 that you may have missed, along with a few key facts and important information about each one. I'll start off with the ones that have release dates in the order that they are releasing, starting with Code Vein 2. This launches on January the 29th or 30th, depending on your time zone, with 3 days advanced access if you pre-purchase the Deluxe or Ultimate Edition. This is a sequel to Code Vein, though it isn't a direct sequel, it is a standalone expansion. And though it does explore the aftermath of the original game's ending, it isn't directly tied to the original game. Code Vein released 6.5 years ago to very positive reviews. This is one of the most favourably reviewed Souls-likes outside of the core FromSoft souls-borne franchises. And bearing in mind, this was well before Elden Ring, so this is before the Souls-like genre really found its feet. So I'm expecting a much bigger audience for Code Vein 2, and if it surpasses the original, it will be incredibly good and definitely a contender for one of the best Souls-likes of the year. So Code Vein 2 is set in a post-apocalyptic universe where you play as a revenant hunter, and you partner up with a time-traveling revenant named Lu to alter history and stop the world's collapse from the lunar rhapsody. Code Vein 2 features bigger open areas, deeper character customization and RPG elements, and a shift to a single-player focus over co-op, building upon the first game's mechanics like blood codes, but with a new formula. We can expect more weapon variety, improved pacing, better AI, and just an overall better, cleaner experience, hopefully anyway. This is absolutely one to look out for, and one you should probably grab if you are a fan of Souls-likes, as it does release in just a few days. Next up, we have Team Ninja's upcoming action RPG, Nioh 3. This evolves the series with a major shift to open field exploration alongside their standard linear missions. This releases on February the 6th with no advanced access, which I much prefer. I definitely prefer it when gamers all get the game on the same day, regardless of when or not they pre-ordered it and what they pre-ordered. And there is even a very generous free demo launching 7 days before the release of the game. So again, in just a few days' time when this video goes live. And all progression from that demo will go towards your progress in the main game. And it's free. No need to pre-order the game to play the demo. This is hugely generous by Team Ninja and already proves how much they care about their player base before the game has even been released. As we know from the public alpha demo a few months ago, or maybe you don't if you missed it, there is so many new systems in Nioh 3 building upon Nioh 2, which in my opinion is already the best Souls-like of all time. It maintains that deep combat and customization, but focuses even more on player choice in exploration, blending vast environments with classic tight level design through crucibles and other dungeons. Guardian spirits are back, soul cores are back, it has more weapons than ever, and now you can stance switch between samurai and ninja for a dual style combat system. This is quite daunting at first, especially if you are coming from Nioh 2. You're going to have to relearn so much of the game, but from what we've played so far, it looks incredible, and I cannot wait for more. And one last thing about Nioh 3 before we move on to the next Souls-like. Nioh 3 is a direct sequel to Nioh 2, set after the first 2 games and continuing this epic dark fantasy series. The next Souls-like on the list this year with a release date so far is The Relic First Guardian. This comes out May 26th, and as far as I'm aware, with no advanced access. This is one of the Souls-likes releasing this year that we know quite little about so far, considering it is only a few months away. I'm not going to lie, it looks incredibly cinematic, really stylish. I love the characters, I love the art. It looks absolutely stunning. And if the gameplay is half as good as they make it look in the trailers, I think this is absolutely another one to watch this year. The description on Steam literally just says, Guardian, gather the pieces of the Great Relic and seal the void of darkness. Now, I don't know if they're just trying to keep it overly cryptic and ambiguous. I hope that's the case. I like that choice if they are. The less we know before a game comes out, the better, in my opinion. I hate spoilers. I tend to stay away from pre-release stuff anyway, so the fact that they're doing the same, absolutely love that. As long as it's because they want to keep us in the dark and not because the game's bad. That's not me saying I think it is. It's just always something that's going to be on people's minds when we have this little information about a game only 4 months before release. Apparently it is going to be in a semi-open world, but apart from that and how awesome the game looks, there's very little we know about it yet, so keep your ears and eyes peeled for this one. The Relic First Guardian absolutely could be one to watch this year. The next Souls-like coming up with a release date so far is Phantom Blade Zero, developed and published by S-Game. This is coming out on the 9th of September. Again, another one as far as I'm aware that isn't going to have an advanced access period. Though, saying that, we don't yet know how much it's going to cost. The different editions haven't even come out, so it might, but I'm praying it doesn't. We have seen a hell of a lot about Phantom Blade Zero so far. A bunch of creators did actually get to go and play this as well, and they gave us some very, very good feedback, with some of the journalists themselves and the developers as well saying that this isn't a traditional Souls-like. It's more of a fast-paced action RPG and actually is more similar to Devil May Cry than a Souls-like, though the two categories nowadays are becoming fairly well blended together. Like, Ninja Gaiden kind of sits on the precipice as well, and actually you could say all Souls-likes are Ninja Gaiden-likes in a way. So yeah, I'd say Phantom Blade Zero sits somewhere perfectly in between an action RPG and a Souls-like, and feeds off of elements of both to make what is shaping up to be an absolutely incredible game. I pray that it plays as good as it looks, not just in the trailers, but from all of the actual literal gameplay footage that we've seen. I'm hoping that all of these are skill-based commands and timings and not just cinematic actions that play themselves out, because if it requires as much skill as it appears to, oh, you will feel like an absolute god when you get to grips with this game. So hopefully the previews have been telling us the truth, because I've heard some fantastic things from a few different YouTuber friends of mine. And honestly, after Nioh 3, this is my most anticipated game of the year. I have been waiting for this for years. I've been doing anything I can to get in S-Game's good books because I'm just so excited for this game. And I think they have given us every reason that you should be too. Now we'll move on to the 3 games that don't yet have release dates but are all scheduled to release this year. Who knows if 1 or 2 of them might get pushed back, but I don't think they will. We will start off with Duskbloods, because I debated even putting this one on this list, because even though it's made by FromSoftware, it isn't a true Souls-borne game. Obviously, they went into the kind of round-based, like Fortnite Wall of Fire style gameplay with Night Rain, though kept it purely co-op, which I thought was a fantastic decision and worked really well. They're now taking that even further with Duskbloods, and from what we know, it's going to be a small player count, PvEVP, kind of extraction action game. So think Hunt Showdown meets Souls-like combat, and that makes me very skeptical. Not because I don't think it will be a fantastic game, just because that's not the kind of game I'm into. I don't play Souls-likes for the PvP. I know there are a small, hardcore PvP audience, and I have many friends in the PvP community. I love so many of them, and I'm really excited they are getting a game that is more dedicated to PvP, with just a bit of the VE sprinkled in for good measure. But because it is going to be entirely PvP focused, it's one I'm a little bit skeptical about, and it's one I would say also isn't a true Souls-like. That's not to say they won't add other modes as well. If there ends up being a PvE focused mode, this will jump right to the top of my list of most anticipated titles. But for now, it remains to be seen exactly how this will all work. Plus, it's a Switch 2 exclusive. I love the Switch 2, I got one for Christmas, it's amazing, but it does limit it to quite a niche audience, so it remains to be seen exactly how amazing this one will be, but we can pray, we can hope. Now into our final two. This one, oh my god, am I praying releases this year. Lords of the Fallen 2. This is a direct sequel to Lords of the Fallen, the new one, by the way, not to be confused with the slightly older one, and it's set 100 years after the first, focusing on a world where the umbral darkness has spread. It features evolved, faster combat with brutal dismemberment, improved co-op, a more accessible story, and a diverse world with more of everything. New enemies, new weapons, new factions, new spells. It sounds like they've just taken everything that worked from Lords of the Fallen, improved it, times it by 2, just gone extreme with the gore and the awesome atmosphere and the gothic grunginess of the game, and just gone to levels we couldn't even dream of in the first game. I am so excited for Lords of the Fallen 2. It looks so cool in every single meaning of that word. And before I move on to the last game for the video, I will just say as well that the Lords of the Fallen that released in 2023, we've already seen from how that released to how it is now. The game, in my opinion, was already great. By the time they got to version 2.0, oh my god, it was amazing. They made so many incredible improvements to that game, and obviously that will feed how they develop the sequel, and this will just come sprinting out of the gate at full force, being an absolute force to be reckoned with right off the bat. And I am very excited for the announcement of the release date for Lords of the Fallen 2. And finally, my 7th and final most anticipated Souls-like for the year is Mortal Shell 2. Mortal Shell got nowhere near as much hype and publicity as I feel like it should have. It wasn't, in my opinion, one of the best Souls-likes, but it really had the makings of one. And you could see, as you were playing through the game, how much more they could do with it, how much further they could take it. And Mortal Shell 2 is shaping up to be one of the best sequels of the year. My god, the way they've improved on this game. I mean, graphically, the animations, the brutality of it, the armor sets, the weapons, everything we've seen so far looks so insanely cool. A lot of the combat, a lot of the enemies and environments actually make me think of Bloodborne. Is Mortal Shell 2 the Bloodborne 2 that we never got? I'm hoping it is, because Cold Symmetry absolutely seem to be cooking with this one. And again, I cannot wait for a new trailer with more gameplay, more information, and most importantly, that all-important release date. So they are the 7 Souls-likes to watch this year. I'm sure there's going to be more announced throughout the year. We're near enough getting one a month. We are eating well as Souls-like fans in 2026, and I cannot wait to make so many videos on every single one of these games. Now, with that said, my friends, all that is left for me to say is thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Father, forgive me.